As a journalist, I'm afraid I'm slightly infernally nosy. It's a prerequisite for the job. And so whenever I meet a woman in midlife, I ask her for her midlife tips. So I thought you might like to hear mine. It's really boring, but the one rule of midlife is that you just have to take some exercise. And I find that if I don't, everything begins to get a bit creaky, and I feel really rubbish and my mood plummets. In fact, the best thing for feeling cheerful, I find, is getting in cold water every morning. Every morning I go for a really brisk walk for an hour. I don't necessarily hit 10,000 steps, but I try and get as close as I can. And that kind of sets me up for the day. The other thing that I've started doing is I meditate every morning, which anybody who knows me would think is completely crazy, because I have always been the woman who is doing at least 3, probably 5 things at once, and I kind of prided myself on it. But actually what I've discovered is that slowing down that 20 minutes that you spend entirely in your own head is actually one of the best treats that you can give yourself, a little moment of calm at the beginning of the day. When I stopped working at the Sunday Times, I felt like I had several limbs which weren't in use. I was just so used to doing so many things simultaneously that I found it incredibly hard to slow down. It was like an addiction to busyness. And I found that the meditation, really kind of sitting still and trying not to think about anything for 20 minutes or half an hour, has massively changed the way that my mind works, that I'm able to be calmer and more present and to focus. This sounds like the most basic truism, and it's ridiculous, isn't it, that it can take 5 decades to come up with something so basic. But I think it's really important to prioritize spending time with the people that you love and that really make you happy and who are your great friends. Of course, lots of us have to spend lots of the week kind of working or doing things that maybe we don't want to do. But I've really learned that that's a real source of joy, is really reaching out and spending as much time as you can with the people who make you happiest. The other thing that I really want to talk about is how difficult change can be. It's that old thing, it's okay not to be okay. And often if you're very kind of successful, kind of high functioning kind of character, the hardest thing of all is to admit that you're finding something tough. You have to be kind to yourself and gentle to yourself through that period. I think quite often women particularly are told that they're too much, or made to feel that they're too much, or they need to kind of trim themselves down to fit into what other people think that they should be. And I think particularly if you're quite a kind of large character, or you rub people up the wrong way, a lot of women feel that they should take up less space in the world. And one of the things that I really believe is that we should empower women to know and feel that it's okay to be all that they are.